From time to time, we look at what is happening in the media, and in the bid of us actually trying to understand from deals or transactions that are going through in the legal system what is happening, and with that, with the bid of us learning from those cases. And I go on to kind of like review those cases. In my review, it's not to review the individuals, but it's to review the nature, or should I say the skeleton of the transaction. And with that, seeing that we are all in business of real estate and doing business, how best can we actually maneuver around this? In today's video, I am going to be talking to or about a case that was recently in the newspapers, I think it's the Cape Times. Shout out to those guys out there. And they captured in a story in which a widow lost a battle to reserve a house that had, to reverse a house that had gone for sale. So basically, this is my wife, Jenna, and I am now late, and she is now trying to reverse the sale of our family home after I have sold it. How did that happen? Like, it gave me goosebump. Like say hair grew. Like I had kind of like diarrhea instantly. Like, how can that happen? How can a husband sell a property, a family property that is, that you're staying in, to someone without the knowledge of the wife? Whew. Later on, for Jenna now to actually go to the High Court and try to reverse the case. The link to the story is in the comments, so you can jump in and you can read the case, the full story. But basically what happened over here is that, and I'm giving a comparison here because you all know that I'm married to my wife, Jenna. And basically, I was married in community of property, so I'm married customary, right? So it is regarded as community of property. But I go on to sell our property, and then in the process, I die, right? And when I'm now late, Jenna goes in now to go and spend some money to try to reverse our property. And the judge said, no, it's a sell. Where does that leave Jenna? Where does that leave our kids? Like, where does our relationship stand? Even though I'm late, like I'm gone. I'm the husband here. So before I start on to reveal this case, it's a very emotional case, and it's something that I don't just think that as a married guy myself, I'm like trying to figure out what went wrong. And I had to go in and search deep down in my soul. I'm like, maybe what went wrong here? So we want to speak to the case, not to the individuals, right? And the first thing that I want us to speak to here, and remember, this is to a learning perspective. So now that we know of the story, how can we look back on our situations and improve it, right? So we're learning from these incidents. So the first one is that I looked at it and I said, maybe what went wrong here? By the way, I don't know these people from a bar soap. I am just giving commentary on the structure of the case as it was reported. And this is not to review the individual, but to review the actual case, with the hope that you and I, we can learn. Okay, great. So as a married couple, and myself being married, what went wrong in this couple's relationship for the husband to go and sell the property? I do think that the first thing that happened here, I can pinpoint to. I want to speak to two things specifically. And I think the first one is that I think somewhere along the line, the couples lost communication lines. Yes, communication lines. What do I mean by that? Communication is about engaging each other. So I'm not telling you I'm going to sell a property, but we are actually sitting down and talking about why are we selling this property of ours that we have? What are we going to do with the money? And. And Jenna will then respond, it's a great idea, no, it's not a great idea, and or we found a buyer, or we've not, and we are continuously having the conversation as we go along. So I honestly think somewhere along the line, communication was lost. Then the second thing that I think here is that if you read the story carefully, there was a bigger problem. And this bigger problem is around their structure. They married in customary. So somewhere along when their husband was now responding to the case, he says that he was not thinking that he was supposed to engage his wife. Right? Did you read that part? He was thinking he's not supposed to engage with his wife. So here's the thing. There are some people who are married customary. I'm talking to you. And some days you're married and some days you're not. Even at the banks today, some days you're married and some days you're not. And you're buying these properties and things like that. And you're doing businesses like that. I honestly think that this was also one of their biggest problems, because in the bit of understanding or not knowing, he thought he could do ABCD. He thought he could sell the property without the consent of his wife. He thought he could. And now he is long dead and the property is gone. They don't mention that they've got kids or no kids. I don't know. I don't know how old this lady is, but I'm just now thinking of, now this house is gone. And guess what? She was also being evicted later on. This is serious. So I thought about this and I said to myself, how can we fix this? How can we fix this? And I want to speak to a number of angles. So the first one is that if you're not married and you're watching this, I think it is very important to know the marriage contracts that are out there. There is different types of marriages. There is community of property. Bless your soul if you're going to be married in community of property. There is out of community of property. They call it ANC, right? There's like, I think about 4 or 5 marriage contracts. Engage a lawyer, understand. Go onto the internet, read about these things. See what's going to work for you. Yes, the one who is not married. Or the one who is in a customary relationship. You're thinking that you're not married. Yeah? Okay. Then the next thing that I want to speak to, again, for the guy who is not married, seek to understand the terms and conditions of each marriage contract. What are you allowed to do? What are you not allowed to do? What are you allowed to do by your own? What are you not allowed to do with the other partner? And how to behave in this marriage contract. The next point I'm going to speak to is for those that are already married. So you find yourself married, you guys already have a primary home and things are going. Life is great. Your kids are teenagers or whatever the case is going to be. What do you now need to do to fix this so that you don't find yourself with a TJ who goes and sells the house and Jenna now needs to come in a legal battle to reverse the sale of the house? For you not to do that, what do you need to do? So the first one is, because you're already staying with someone right now for such a long time, guess what? You're already married. Okay? That's the first thing. So you're probably married in community or property. Or someone paid lobola for you, or you paid lobola, or you haven't even finished to pay lobola. Whatever the case is, that it's already legally binding. If you think it's not, right, engage a lawyer. The second thing that you now need to be doing is that revisit the marriage contract. Whatever arrangement that you have, you now understand better. So revisit it. When you revisit it, then engage your partner. This is what we want to do. We've been married in community of property, but now we want to go outside community of property. How can we do it? Seek to understand that ANC. Seek to understand who is going to do it for you. Make your other partner comfortable with the new contract that you're going into and why you're going to be doing it. You can change your marriage contract anytime. Yeah. Just be careful that when you're now wanting to change the marriage contract, when maybe you divorce, the other one says, whoa, I don't want to get married anymore. Right? That can happen. But if this is done in the spirit of love, in the spirit of good communication, we do not have to go through the courts where the other one now is trying to recoup your guys' home. Right? So I hope that makes sense. We're still going ahead. By the way, if this is making any sense to you, hit the like button. And as I go along, add on some comments as well. Maybe you want to chip in here on what happened here, right? But in general, I want to speak to other points, right? It is important that as a married couple, you engage each other on your business. What do I mean by that? We're always talking about business here, making money and, going on holidays and leaving a legacy. Well, now there's no legacy here, right? The legacy is gone, right? There's a bitter taste about this guy here. Jenna doesn't like me anymore. She liked me when I was around, but now I'm dead. She doesn't like me anymore, right? So the legacy of me is bitter taste now, right? So how can you avoid that? So engage each other on your business. The business is you. So talk to each other, right? If you're wanting to sell the property, talk to each other about selling the property. If you disagree, maybe disagree to agree. You've heard that term before, isn't it? Remember, you're on one team. At the end of the day, whatever that's going to impact the other one will also impact you, and vice versa. And if you are married in a setup where you're not so sure, or you're married customary, it's even worse. So what am I basically saying here? Because you're on one team, you need to behave in a manner that is going to support the team. Like in soccer, we never see these other soccer stars who are going in and they are right there in the front as a striker, and they are kicking the ball the other way, right? They're always kicking in the front so that they can score. And everybody is always doing that because they want to score. They want to win. So what do you need to do? Perform as if you are on one team. Some cases, you're going to have issues. There is no two people that are going to be put together and that are not going to have issues. Yeah? Even Jenna and I, we have issues, plenty of issues. However, we are quick to resolve them. And sometimes it might not even mean that you're resolving them instantly, but at least agree that you have resolved them. Right? Not to wait to go to the High Court and then you get to find out your property been sold and now you want to reverse it. And the other one was thinking that they can sell without the other one. That's literally a little bit of ignorance. We are better people. I know you're better people because you're watching this channel. You're watching this information, so we are better people, right? So as better people, we do things differently. So this is a very emotional, I think a very touching conversation here that we spoke about. I think it's like 1 in 1,000 or something like that. But the bottom line is that these things are happening. How can we avoid them? And I'm hoping that the information that I've granted here, and by the way, you are most welcome to add in your comments on whether you're male or whether you're female, whether you're dating men and men or women and women, whether you're dating, what's your view around here? The guy is already gone. And now his family, I don't know where they're going to stay, right? Even though that you opted to refund the other person, they refused. The buyer refused. You saw that. So I hope that we have learned something. It's not a story, basically. This is a case that happened. So I hope we have learned something. How can you make it better for your relationship? to avoid such kind of a situation here. I spoke about the structure was not clear earlier on, right? I'm always promoting that, guys, if you are married, get married out of community of property, probably with an accrual. That's the best one. Well, that's the one I think makes sense, right? And then after that, whatever that you're going to be buying now, you put it into vehicles that allow you to create a legacy, that allow you to buy more, that allow you to do amazing things with your team. And who's in your team? It's you and your partner. You are the first two people that are very important. And then thereafter, the kids are going to come in. Thereafter, the grandkids are going to come in. Thereafter, your name needs to live forever. Yeah? That's it. I hope this has been informative. And if this has been of a sore heart, I apologize. But we need to have these conversations. It is your boy TJ. It's been great chatting with you. And I'll catch you up on the next video.